Massive, massive month for the Rays. Not even just talking about, the trade deadline. We'll learn, where is the front office's headspace at? Do they think this team really has it? They're not going to buy, but are they going to, not sell? And then stadium, the vote, the city council meetings. They're this month. This month we find out if baseball stays in Tampa Bay. This is a massive month. My God. More than halfway through the MLB season, trade deadline coming up, All-Star break coming up, and our Rays are sort of right in the middle of the pack. And the first word that comes to mind when I think of this Rays team so far this year, it's one word, and it came to my mind very quickly when I was thinking about one. Inconsistent. Inconsistent is our word of the day and our word for the Rays halfway through the season. And it started from the beginning. From the beginning of the season up until us just getting swept by the Texas Rangers. So going back to the beginning, in the beginning, I feel like I'm reading the Bible. Yandy Diaz. Let's start from the top down. Slow start. Not the normal Yandy we're used to. Not hitting at that 300 average. Slowly climbing throughout the season. Getting to the Yandy that we're used to. But batting title Yandy, Silver Slugger Yandy, it hasn't been there as much as we have seen in the past. Moving on. Reindeer Rosarena. I can't even call it a slow start for Randy. It was a terrible start. Legit terrible start. Did he have the worst average in the MLB for a certain extent? If not, he was the second worst, for sure. Terrible. Slowly has been getting back into that Randy groove. Next, let's go to Jose Siri. Why not Jose Siri? He's not someone you expect a super high batting average out of, but you expect some power from him. 25 homers last season. We know how hard he can hit that ball and how hard he pimps his home runs. But for a while there, we were not seeing no pimping at all. No pimping. And he was right there with Randy, where he was just stuck in that slump. And it wasn't even just at the plate. He was making mistakes in the field, just dropping balls coming right at him. I remember when I say that, one particular moment comes in mind where he was blaming the lights or something like it wasn't the Jose Siri we know and we've seen over the last month or so. So that's another one. Let's think about our pitching staff. The ace. Our ace going into the season, Zach Eflin. Injured at a couple points. Inconsistent throughout. Hasn't been that ace we're looking for. I mean, what went right? Just about everything that could go wrong was going wrong. Taj wasn't able to start the season. Josh Lowe got injured again. Brandon Lau, multiple injuries throughout. Little nicks here and there. It just was not a fun start to this season. It really wasn't. And it wasn't just Jose Siri in the field either. I mean, there were multiple errors and mistakes and just mental lapses you don't expect from a Rays team in the field. Base running, just making decisions that what are we doing? Getting caught out and just not paying attention. Just stuff that the Rays have been so good at for so long that has made them competitive even with their smaller budget. The little things, the pitching, the fielding, the base running. It just wasn't there. And it wasn't Rays baseball. It was not Rays baseball. And God bless Isak Paredes. Because this lineup without Isak Paredes, congratulations on making the All-Star team to Isak Paredes. He deserves it. If anyone on this team deserves it, it is Isak Paredes for what he's done throughout the season. He had a little bit of a dry spell there more recently, but being able to carry that load for a team that was just almost as a whole just in a slump. Huge. Huge. And we would not even be having the conversation of playoffs if it wasn't for Isaac Paredes in that lineup. And some of the moves that the front office made, they deserve some credit. Trading Luke Raley for Jose Caballero. Love the power from Luke Raley, but we needed Jose Caballero on this team. Looking at how this first half of the season played out, we needed Jose Caballero. And he's done good for us. Ahmed Rosario. What a pickup. Richie Palacios has come up big in multiple moments throughout the year. Being super versatile in the field, playing whatever position they need him to play. Huge pickups. And while they did not do, the numbers that Isaac Paredes did, they all contributed in their own way, and they needed it. This Rays team needed it bad because their stars weren't showing up. I mean, that was just the fact. Yandy Diaz was not the Yandy Diaz we know. Our face of the franchise, Randy Arozarena, was, let's just say, had the second worst batting average in the entire MLB. Things were just... It wasn't the start we wanted or expected. No one can look me in the face and tell me they expected Randy Arozarena to hit 140 through the first couple months of the season, or Yandy Diaz to just not look like Yandy Diaz. I mean, he's done it for so long. We know what Yandy Diaz does. He just wasn't doing it to start the season. I mean, it was unfortunate. The Rays were dealt a bad hand, and they've done what they could with it. They're still in it. They're absolutely not out of it. I mean, given everything that I just talked about, the injuries, the inconsistency, 4.5 games back of the wild card, it's not bad. Is it what we want? No, but given everything that happened, it's not bad. And it was, up and down throughout. We would take 3 out of 4 in Fenway, and then they'd come to the Trop, and we'd get swept by the Red Sox. There was just way too many. It's what I've been saying all year. Way too many 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. You make some progress, and then you lose it all. The Rays just, had a nice little stretch here. You get swept by the Rangers. You step back. I mean, when they were 33-38, I posted a poll on my channel, and I said, right now, will the Rays make the playoffs? Yes or no? And granted, I have a small channel. I didn't get that many votes, so the sample size is very small. But there was about 20 votes or so, and wouldn't you guess, it was 100% to 0. Every single person, all 20 or whatever it was, voted no. The Rays will not make the playoffs. And I couldn't disagree with that. I couldn't. 33-38, injuries, inconsistency, stars not living up to their name. How can you disagree with that? And at one point, they were last in the American League East. They aren't anymore. Blue Jays are there. Thankfully, they've moved a nice little bit past them. But last in the division at one point, and halfway through June, which, you think about it, was not that long ago, they were 33-38. 5 games below 500. Now we do have to talk about this. Over the last, since that record, 33-38, halfway through June, the Rays went on a stretch where they won 5 series in a row. Great stuff. And it was kind of seemed like this is what we expected from the Rays to start the season, throughout the season. And we just didn't get it. The bats heat up. Pitching, a little more consistent. You think at what the bullpen was to start the year? My goodness. Terrible. Terrible. The Rays with a terrible bullpen? That's usually one of their more strong points. And it was biting us. It was hurting us. Bad. But it leveled out a bit. And I think I think now we're trending towards the norm. You see everyone's averages going up. Yandy's average going up. Randy's average going up. Siri's average going up. The pitching, still shaky at some points. I mean, Zach Littell has not looked good. Phil Maton's not looked good throughout the year. Sean Armstrong is on like a just... How Kevin Cash even puts him in a game at this point, if it's not a 5-run difference already, I don't know how. But other than that, it's been okay. It's been inconsistent. I mean, is there another word for it? After this stretch of series wins, it's easier to disagree with that. Because like I said, we're seeing the Rays trend towards what we expected, and it feels like a trend towards the norm. This is what we should expect from this lineup. This is what we know they're capable of, what we know they could do. And honestly, this is like the healthiest I've seen a Rays team at this point in the season in a long time. Yes, there's, Jeffrey Springs still coming back from an injury from last season. Rasmussen coming back from an injury from last season. But in terms of stuff that's happened this year for the Rays, and how much it just feels like the Rays are cursed with injuries, it's not that bad. And my fingers are crossed while I'm saying that. My table is made out of wood, so let me... But I mean, that's rare. So I guess the question now is, can they dig themselves out of this hole? Because they've dug themselves a fairly deep one. It could be deeper, it could be shallower, but they're in a hole. And it's going to take some work to get out of it. Because the Rays do have the toughest schedule remaining in the entire MLB. And to be honest with you, it's by a fairly wide margin. And you've seen it. I mean, they go Minnesota and then they play Kansas City, and there's just no breaks. I mean, this last series against Texas was under 500, and we get swept. That was one of the easier teams remaining on our schedule. They were the Texas Rangers, the defending World Series champs. Yes, with all their own issues going on this season, they were one of the weakest spots left on the schedule, and we got swept. We did. They might be our kryptonite. Actually, like Nathan Eovaldi might be the Rays' kryptonite. I hate playing the Texas Rangers. All right, so here we go. So here's the stretch of series that the Rays won in a row. So they beat Minnesota, really good team. Pittsburgh, solid team. Seattle, good team. Washington, all right team. Kansas City, good team. And then they get swept by the Rangers, unfortunately. But moving on from there, the Rays have the day off today, tomorrow, at home against the New York Yankees. Yes, they're kind of slumping, but, I mean, they still have that record for a reason. And then you go to Cleveland, up there for the best record in the league. Moving on. Back against New York. Got a divisional series in Toronto. I mean, even though they have the worst record in the East, it's never easy to play up there. Cincinnati, all right. Miami, bad team. And then you go to Houston. They're right there in the thick of things with the Rays. Probably be a huge series. St. Louis, good. Baltimore, we know what they've done to us this season. Back to Houston. Arizona. Oakland, okay. Los Angeles, up there with the best records. Seattle, good team. San Diego has talent. Minnesota, good team. Baltimore, we know what they done to us. Phillies, up there, best record. Cleveland, up there, best record. Like, you see, this, first off, this is ridiculous. Are you kidding me? What is that road trip? That is a gauntlet. At Baltimore, at Philly, at Cleveland for 4 games. God. Like, it's not an easy schedule, guys. And I hope badly that the Rays can find themselves out of this hole and sneak into that third wildcard spot, even though you think about that third wildcard spot, it's a tough road. It's a tough road. And it's a 3-game series on the road, probably against a really good team. It's a question that I don't like because I always want to fight for that spot, but do we think the Rays are really going to fight for that spot? And that leads a little bit more into the trade deadline, because that is coming up. I'm making this video without knowing at all what's going to happen at the trade deadline. Do I think the Rays are going to be buyers? No. No, I do not. They're the Rays. Let's be real for a moment. How many how many trade deadlines have gone by where we're just like, we could just really use this position, and they just don't do anything? Like, they're not going to be buyers. Sellers, maybe a light sell. It's not going to be a garage sale where they're just selling everything, but maybe a light sell. You see what I'm saying? How bad are the Rays gonna want to really push for this third wildcard spot? It's gonna be up to that trade deadline. What are they gonna do? And that's gonna give us our answer, honestly. If they keep everyone, Yandy, Randy, all these guys, then they're showing belief. They're showing faith that they think this lineup, this team of guys, this roster can make some moves and, do something. Because even with them making the playoffs the last 2 years, we have seen nothing as fans in the playoffs. A couple years ago against the Guardians. Last year against the Rangers. Like, those are just sickening series to even think about. Brutal. Less than 5 runs scored by the Rays between both of those series combined. So I think y'all get what I'm saying. At least I hope you do. If you disagree, that's okay, but hope you following what I'm saying. Was it last Sunday? I think it was last Sunday. 2 Sundays ago. I was at the Rays game against the Washington Nationals. Rays just great game. Balled out. Taj looked good. Standing ovation, walking off. Isaac Paredes was just a single away from hitting for the cycle. Great game to go to. Energy was high. Trop was rocking. Fun day. After the game, my friend asked me just the classic question. You got to bet your house on it. Will the Rays make the playoffs or no? And at that point, the Rays were hot, looking good. This was before the sweep by the Texas Rangers. And I still, keep in mind, I had some of that drink in me. But I said no. If I'm really, really going to be honest, and there's consequences behind it, do I have faith? Yes. But do I really think they're going to make the playoffs? No. I do not. Unfortunately. And I really hope I'm wrong. And I say unfortunately because I really like this group of guys. I love Randy. I love Yandy. All of the leaders on this team, pitching staff. I love Eflin. I love Taj. I mean, there's tons of stuff to work with. But it's a deep hole. And even after you dig yourself out of the hole, there's a tall hill to climb with the remaining schedule that the Rays have. So, it's going to be tough. I hope they can do it. But, who knows? So that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please comment your thoughts below on this first half of the MLB season for the Tampa Bay Rays. And what you think the rest of the way. If I asked you that same question my friend asked me, what are you going to say? Honestly, let me know down in the comments below. Again, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you have not already. Go Rays. Y'all have a blessed one.